Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H. Figuarts Star Wars Rogue One Stormtrooper. This is a 6-inch scale figure and the second Stormtrooper that Bandai has done in their S.H. Figuarts line. The original version is one of the absolute hardest S.H. Figuarts figures to get. I assume people army built it and bought a lot of them up because secondary market prices are pretty high. But that's okay because this new version, based on the Rogue One design, which obviously it's a Stormtrooper, it's going to look pretty similar, does have some enhancements over its predecessor. It has a completely new sculpt and just looks a little bit more film accurate in my view. You can see the box is a pretty standard S.H. Figuarts. It's a little bit larger than what we normally see, and you can see that he has quite a few guns in there. He's got some extra hands. One side of the box says Star Wars Rogue One. Opposite side says the same thing and gives you a look at the figure. Now I do like how they do these boxes with an image of the figure. That way if you wanted to have like a library of them on a shelf, just the boxes or the figures in the boxes, you could look at them and see, all the characters side by side. And at the back, we get more looks at the action figure itself. So it does look really nice. It does look really versatile. It looks like there's quite a few configurations you can set up with this figure. And all in all, I'm pretty excited about getting this one opened up. It's a Stormtrooper. I mean, who doesn't love Stormtroopers? And it's based on Rogue One, and it has the tweaked aesthetic. So let's get to it. All right, you guys. Now here is the Stormtrooper out of the box. Now, doesn't this look cool? I think it looks great. Aesthetically speaking, I think that the proportions here are very nicely accomplished. That helmet just looks pretty amazing. And it doesn't look too narrow, doesn't look too skinny. Maybe the waist is a little bit thin, but that's kind of got to be the case because of the articulation. But all in all, I think they did a great job with the overall look and proportions of the figure. I really dig this nice bright white plastic. It's glossy, looks great. And it comes off very much looking like Stormtrooper armor as seen in the Star Wars films. The black bits of the costume look great, very nice contrast between the black and the white. And being a Figuarts figure, he does have a lot of articulation and comes with some fantastic accessories. Here's a close-up look at the figure. And as I mentioned at the opening of the video, Bandai did go back and redo the helmet on this Stormtrooper figure. Not just that, the whole figure is brand new, but the helmet in particular stands out as being the most redesigned from the previous release. Now, I do think that it looks great. I think that the lenses look awesome. I think that the little black band on the head looks great. Overall, the helmet looks fantastic. I do kind of feel like the little cheeks or cheekbones or jawline or whatever we want to call that down here does kind of stick out a little bit too much. It's not a huge deal. I think it still looks fantastic, but I do think that it's just a little bit too pronounced down there at the bottom. Maybe if they would have tapered it a little bit more, but I mean, look at it from the side. This looks so film accurate. It looks great. From an angle, it looks great. From the side, it looks great. From the back, it looks really nice. Well, you do see that little flare there at the bottom. I kind of feel like they needed to bulk out maybe just a little bit more here on the top just to kind of make it look a little more natural. But I mean, it looks a lot better than the original release. It's not quite as bad. This is definitely tweaked and it looks better, but it still is imperfect. They need to go a little bit more. Just take it in just a little bit, Bandai, just a little bit. And then this would be like a perfect figure. But I mean, it still looks great. Like I said, from the side, it looks awesome. The paint detail is very nice. I do see a couple of minor issues. There is a little white dot right there, white paint. And then the lens itself, it looks like they're a little bit uneven, like the black isn't fully painted inside the little lens. Again, not a big deal. I mean, it still looks fantastic, and that's kind of nitpicking it because, I mean, there's going to be really tiny flaws here and there. I mean, even with something like a Figuarts figure, it's just kind of going to happen sometimes. The rest of the armor looks great. Like I said, they really did a nice job capturing the look of Stormtrooper armor, the way it was glossy and hard plastic looking in the films. That's definitely the case here. And I just think that really works in the figure's favor. And just all the armor, the way it's sculpted, the way that it looks, it's great. Really nice detail here in the arms. And it's a very lightweight figure, but, it feels very sturdy. It's very hard. It's not like a Hasbro figure where, you can feel the plastic's kind of soft and bendy sometimes. This feels really sturdy. And I just think it looks really good. Very nice belt detail. Very nice detail there in the waist area. Legs look really nice. Very nicely captured armor. I just think that it looks great. I mean, for a Stormtrooper, you would think that, there's no pickles down here, you would think that for a Stormtrooper that it's the kind of thing that they should nail each and every time a company does it, but they just don't. They never can get it right, it seems, unless you go to something like Hot Toys, for example, which, are going to look pretty close to perfect. But I think this is probably the best I've seen for a 6-inch figure so far. I think that it looks fantastic. Like I said, there is a little bit of improvement that could be done here on the helmet, but by and large, I'm really happy with what I'm seeing. Now, in terms of that articulation, you have a ball joint there at the top of the head. So you can do tilt, you can do side to side, you can look down a little bit, you can look up a little bit. Now, keep in mind, it is a helmet, so, it's not going to be as much as maybe you'll see on a human figure, for example. You also get a neck joint at the bottom, so you can rotate his neck around like that, which does give you more movement. Now, the shoulders are interesting. You do have those butterfly joints in there, so you can pull them up and down like that. And you also get the ball joint, so you can move it in any which way direction you want. Now, right here, the shoulder armor is hinged, so you can kind of see that it's just on that little hinge right there. And you can move it however you want. If you wanted it tilted outward, so you can get outward arm movement, you could do that. You could push it inward. You put the arm back up, you can just close it. It does take a little bit of practice to get it dialed in, because sometimes it can just stay looking like that. But, just with a little bit of practice, you can figure out how it looks best. And it's nice because it doesn't really interfere with the movement of the figure's shoulders. So you do get a swivel here at the upper bicep. You get bends at both of the elbows, and they do more than 90 degrees. So that's a very nice range of movement there. Here at both of the wrists, you do get those ball pegs, so you can move those hands in different directions. You can spin them, move them up, move them down. And out of the box, he does come with fists. And we'll look at the other hands in just a bit, but that's what he's got out of the box. Here at the upper torso, you do get a nice joint, and look at all the movement you get from that. That's pretty great. Here at the lower torso, you also get a ball joint, so another bit of flexibility there that really helps out with posability. Here at the hips, you do get ball joints, so you can flex those forward all the way. You can also do complete splits, just like that. Pretty nice. You also get a swivel down here at the thigh. You get your double bends here at both of the knees, and that's very nice right there. And here at the ankles, you can bend, you can rotate, and they are on an ankle pivot. And then you also get the toe articulation down here at the bottom. So overall, very nicely articulated. I am thoroughly pleased with the amount of joints and the amount of fluidity and flexibility that this figure has. As far as those other hands goes, the Stormtrooper comes with these 2 open hands, and you also get 2 trigger fingers. In terms of accessories, you do get this Stormtrooper Imperial Issue blaster, and I think it looks really good. And it's just got a very nice sculpt to it. It is the Rogue One style, which is a little bit different than what we saw in the original trilogy, but it still looks really good. I think the only difference really is that it has that little scope there on the side for some unknown reason. But very nice, solid plastic, some matte black, a little bit of a sheen to it. I think it looks great. You also get this larger ion cannon weapon, and it's also got that little scope right there. I wonder if that was in Rogue One. I don't remember seeing this, but I guess it would have been, right? It looks really good. It's the same kind of plastic, very nicely detailed, very nicely sculpted. It definitely gets the job done, and yeah, I really do like this. And then finally, you also get this sniper rifle that comes attached to this little kickstand, and that's really nice because it enables you to pose it on the ground, and you can get the trooper in some really nice poses as well. So that's just a really cool extra accessory there. And other than that, it still looks really good. It's the same plastic that you get on those other weapons, but it is sculpted nicely. You can see some pretty good detail on there. So all in all, this figure does have some very nice weapons. And what is also very nice is that the Stormtrooper holds all of his weapons very nicely without any issues whatsoever. Here's a comparison of the Figuarts and the Hasbro Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch Stormtrooper. Looking at them one to the other, they actually look a little bit more similar than I expected. Yeah, you do have some differences. Obviously, the helmets are a little bit different, and the material they use for the plastic is a little bit different, and you can really see that the Figuarts is glossier, whereas the Hasbro, it seems to be a softer plastic that is painted white. I think that they both look great. Obviously, the Figuarts is a lot more fluid in its movement. It has more joint capabilities, and it's just a lot more fun to pose, especially with all those accessories and everything. So I do prefer it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H. Figuarts Star Wars Rogue One Stormtrooper 6-inch scale action figure. Overall, you guys, I am thoroughly pleased with the figure. It's awesome. And I don't say that very lightly with most figures, but even though the helmet is a little bit imperfect, this is quickly becoming one of my absolute favorite figures in my entire collection. As far as Stormtrooper figures go in the 6-inch scale, I think that this is top notch. I think that it looks great. I think that the plastic is very nice quality. I think that the gloss of the armor looks very film accurate. Not to mention the awesome amount of articulation and posability you get with this figure. It's just top notch in every way. All those accessories that you get, all the weapons look great. He holds them all without any issues whatsoever. The interchangeable hands, they're actually pretty functional. I mean, it's not like they're giving you any hands that you don't really need like you sometimes get. All of these are very useful, and they really help with getting him into different positions and with getting him to interact with his weapons. Although the Black Series version is quite nice for what it is, I think that Figuarts did a really nice thing here. And if you were torn between getting one or the other, I mean, this one, even though you're going to pay more for it, it is totally worth it. I got mine imported from Hobby Link Japan. I think it went for around $45. And I honestly couldn't be happier with it. I really want to get another one. And I don't normally army build when it comes to the Figuarts or the Mafex line of figures, because that's kind of expensive to do. But you know what? For the Stormtrooper, it's worth it. I gotta get at least one more. The only other thing I could say that might have been a little bit better is if they would have included a pauldron. Since we do see Stormtroopers in Rogue One with different colored pauldrons, I think that if you would have at least had one pauldron, maybe like an orange one, that would add some extra playability, and you could army build more of them and pose them differently. But maybe they're gonna do that with a separate figure at some point with different weapons and accessories. Who knows? In any case, this is top notch. I love it. And I can't recommend it to you enough, especially if you're a fan of 6-inch Stormtroopers or the Galactic Empire. I mean, this is truly one for the ages. It's just such a fun figure. It's such a great figure. And I'm truly happy that I picked it up. All right, my friends, if you've enjoyed this video, then do give us a like, do subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.